let's take each scenario and identify what should be the best devices in that scenario for a network administrator to make sure the connectivity between these devices are working properly and as expected. So let's take the simple case of two devices. Let's say you are having two laptops and then you want to make sure that this communication is actually happening. There is usually nowadays what we'll be using is a Wi-Fi access point, but let's take in this case there is no Wi-Fi access point. You need to, you are in your friend's house and you have done this, the course of networking, and then you want to make sure there is a connectivity without an access point. So how do you do that? So if these devices are nearby, a simple thing is you can actually connect these two devices using a cable. And this cable, there are different types of cable, something called straight through cable and crossover cable. We will get on to those details later. There is an auxiliary cable. We will find those details of what different cables are. But right now, remember that there is a need of a specific cable that should make sure the communication between these devices are actually happening. Now, where do you connect this particular cable? When you see your laptop or a PC, you'll be able to see a lot of places where you will be able to plug in the cable, and different types of cable goes to different types of places depending on your requirement. So if you have seen your laptop, there will be something called a NIC card, or even if it's a PC, there will be something called network interface card, which you might have heard about. If not, this is that particular piece. You will be able to see something called this, where you will be plugging in your cable, which is called as an RJ45 cable. Now once you connect this, there is signal coming in, and we will learn about layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, and how these things actually works and stuff like that for another day. But remember, the moment you have connected this particular cable in this RJ45 slot or the socket, which is our NIC card, then this PC is able to send communication signals so that now it can actually talk to other devices or even to the outside world, depending on what is there at the other end of this cable. So now for you to connect three devices, what you typically need is, you need three cables connecting across all these devices, right? So device 1 has to have connectivity between device 2 and 3. 2 needs to have connectivity between 1 and 3, and 3 needs to have connectivity between 1 and 2. And remember, in this scenario now you need 2 NIC cards for each of the connections. Now what happens when you are actually having 4 devices? When you are actually having 4 devices, the connectivity is something like this. You need 3 NIC cards to connect to all the 4 devices. Now if you are actually having a group of 10, that means you need 9 NIC cards for this communication to happen, which is not at all a scalable solution. And that is when you should use a device called as hub. And this is the first device you are going to get introduced, where you don't need multiple NIC cards for the device or multiple NIC cards for the laptop, but you will have one NIC card which gets connected into the port of a hub. And what this device called hub does is it actually broadcasts these messages to all of these devices, so that whichever is the right device, he will be communicating back. Let's say this PC here is wanted to communicate with this PC. What happens is signal will be sent to the hub here, and hub will send it across all the interface, all the ports here. And finally, when the packet actually reaches, the communication actually reaches the right device, he identifies, okay, that there is somebody trying to communicate with me, and he responds. How these all things happen, we will learn about the layers and models and IP addresses and stuff like that later. But at a high level, do understand that if it is in a closed nearby environment, you can use this particular device called hub for the connectivity of very, very, very nearby devices.